Awesome, we're recording. So I'm here with Lianne today. So another train podcast. We're going to talk about the differences between HIIT and LISS today. So first of all, before we jump into things, we're just going to get Lianne to introduce herself, talk to us about who she is and what she does.
Hey Josh and everyone else. So I'm Lianne and my business is Lianne Norman Fitness, spelled Lianne, just in case you search for me. I've since the lockdown period, I've gone into virtual training and I'm focusing a lot more on that, whereas previously I was a personal trainer in my local area. But I've just found that I've had to adapt with the times and the changes that we've all been made to. Everyone's lives just been turned upside down, and I feel like, by me acting, I'm helping people by weight control or drop weight or just kind of mentally. So I've started doing a lot of virtual training, so it's going really, really well.
Yeah, awesome. And that's more focusing on the HIIT side of things, isn't it? Those virtual training sessions.
Yeah, I do. There's a timetable that I have that there's 16 classes on per week, and I've collaborated with a couple of other instructors, and the ones that I mostly do is HIIT. They're all pretty much high intensity, so if that's anything that any clients are really looking for, then they'll jump on my classes. But we've got Pilates, there's a core class, box fits. There's all types of stuff on there. So.
Yeah, awesome. For those people that don't know what HIIT and LISS is, so HIIT is high intensity interval training, and then LISS is a low intensity steady state. So two different types of cardio, and they're specific for two different types of people. So HIIT is really more for someone who's quite busy. They don't have a lot of time. They want to make the most out of the lack of time they've actually got, which is what service Lianne actually provides with her online virtual classes. And then LISS is someone who wants that low impact type of cardio, but they've got a lot more time on their hands. So for example, a bodybuilder will do a lot more LISS because they're quite sore. They have a lot of DOMs from their regular training sessions. So they will do LISS cardio sessions outside of that as well. But what you was doing a lot of HIIT. I know you're prepping for a photo shoot still, right, Lianne?
I am. I am.
You was doing a lot of HIIT before. How is that changed since doing your photo shoot at the minute?
I have actually, my LISS has changed. I'm doing probably a little bit more. I'm doing less HIIT simply because I was probably doing about 2 to 3 sessions a day, and now I'm doing sort of 1 to 2, and now a bit more steady state cardio that's now been injected into my plan by my coach. So I enjoy both of them. Cardio has never been an issue for me, so it's good that I enjoy it. But like you say, there's for two completely different people.
Yeah, that's it. What's your favourite?
Oh God, all day long. For me, the low intensity, you just have to do it for longer. And I have to do 30 minutes run in the morning and 30 minutes run in an evening. And by the time the evening comes, I'm buzzing for a HIIT because of the way it makes me feel. I don't get the same enjoyment out of the low intensity. You're just at one pace. So you can do the lamppost challenge where you sprint to one, sprint to another, but again, your heart rate's elevating and you're defeating the object. So you have to keep that steady state cardio. I'm constantly checking my watch to make sure my heart rate is over the heart rate required, but it just gets boring for me. I just don't enjoy it. Those people that can go out for 20 miles at a weekend, I think, oh no, it's not for me.
That's it. It's exactly what I said. Two different type of people. I'm personally a LISS guy because doing like a HIIT session, I find boring doing a HIIT session.
If we're the same, we'd all be fighting, wouldn't we?
Exactly. So in regards to HIIT, the way that you kind of burn calories and burn body fat in that session is because you're elevating your heart rate to a certain point, you're dropping it back down and keep on elevating it like that. And so you're just shocking your body in that short period of time and you actually burn calories after. Whereas with LISS, your heart rate is elevated to a point where you are burning calories, but it's very, very steady and it stays the same throughout that session. So that's the difference between the two. But in regards to HIIT, because HIIT's your favourite, Lianne, what type of person would you recommend HIIT for?
Right. So anyone that, like you said at the beginning, they've got a shorter time period to exercise. I kind of suggest 3 to 4 times a week, and you can do anything for 30 minutes. Obviously, if you're doing your steady state cardio, you have to go for a lot longer. So you're looking at between 2 to 250 calories that you can burn in those 30-minute sessions. Anyone really as well. It could be for moms that can't really organize their children to be cared for because, I don't know, it could be that nobody's around. You could do it at home. So obviously you've got the virtual training. You could, not even with the virtual training, you could set up, your own little workout, 30 minutes, and you could do it in the living room because you can do it anywhere. So it's not necessarily you need to be at a gym because you don't even need to have any equipment. And somebody maybe that's got high stress levels, because for me, the way it makes me feel after, if I am stressed, it just completely eliminates everything. I'll come out of that session that I'll do when I'm with my clients and when I'm, with my virtual members, and it just makes me feel on top of the world. So those type of people.
Awesome. And I mean, LISS, I think LISS has been quite good for a lot of people during the lockdown period. I mean, I've been going out for a morning walk every single day during the whole lockdown, not even to do cardio, just to get out of the house and get a bit of fresh air. So I think a lot of people have been doing a lot more LISS, going for longer walks. But yeah, I can see on your side why you find it quite boring. But I'm someone that when I go on a walk, I just completely switch off. I've got my headphones in, listening to a podcast or whatever, and it's just my time to have a bit of a mental break.
No, I think you're right. I mean, as I said, I go out 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in an evening, and I'll walk my dog for 3 miles a day as well, or my dogs. So for me, I do completely switch off. And like you say, I put my earphones in, I listen to podcasts. And I guess because that for me is something that I have to do. I think because I've got a dog, I have to do it every day anyway. It's just something that I just, I don't even think about doing. Whereas I suppose here I have to put a lot more preparation into it, because it could be that I'm teaching, or I could just say, I'll be meeting with my sister. And I'll set up the WhatsApp, and we'll do somebody's session completely different. Obviously not myself. We'll set it up, and I suppose there's a lot more preparation. But no, when a bit of fresh air, outdoor training. I suppose with HIIT as well, that's another good thing. You can set up in the garden, you can get out and have some fresh air.
Yeah, that's it. You can do it anywhere, can't you? Yeah. But what type of exercises would like a typical HIIT session include? So what would like the setup of a HIIT session look like?
I tend to go towards full body moves, so not just something, for example, like your bicep curls. Say if we were to have, I ask my members to get maybe a couple of tins, a couple of bottles of water. Obviously, you can fill the bottles of water up to determine how much weight you're going to be kind of lifting, but something, maybe a squat and a couple of punches, or something that's going to involve more than one muscle group. So it's getting those, more muscle groups involved in one exercise, and elevating that heart rate just to keep it at maximum throughout the whole session. There's a lot of impact in it as well. So when anybody really there's a lot of obviously stress on the joints. So, you need to making sure you've got that conditioning as well. You're not just focusing on the HIIT training, because before you know it, you're going to get an injury, and there's quite high impact. It's not necessarily something, don't get me wrong, beginners can do it, but it's not necessarily something that they'd want to go down, especially to start with, because you're going to be sore. But again, any exercises, so your press ups, your squats, your lunges, your jumping jacks, high knees, burpees, anything like that, just good quality exercises that engage a lot of muscle groups.
That's it. And I think that's the good thing about HIIT. I mean, the amount of variety that you've got. I mean, you can literally throw any different type of exercise into a HIIT session and allow it as a HIIT session. Whereas with LISS, I mean, the exercises that you've got is kind of like a walk. You can cycle, you can go on the cross trainer. So any types of those cardio pieces that you see in a typical gym, if you're on there for a long period of time, just going at the same pace, that's when you're performing that LISS. But if, let's say, with HIIT training, let's say you've got like a bad back or a bad knee. I know you touched on it a little bit there, but would you recommend HIIT to someone who's got an injury like that?
I would recommend. I would recommend them doing conditioning. So, just focusing that little bit more on the target areas of where they're battling, and speaking to a professional personal trainer, physio, and just finding out, exercises that they can do to aid and to, make them better before doing that. It's not something, that you. But a lot of people, they'll come to me before a session and they'll message me and they will say, Lianne, I've got a couple of ladies that are postnatal, and they'll say to me, Lianne, I've got problems with my pelvis, obviously for obvious reasons. My back's a little bit sore, and I will demonstrate a few exercises because I know really, before my session starts, I know roughly how it's going to be tailored, and I will message them and I'll say, right, when we do these exercises, get your tins and you just do punches. So don't even go near that. So I will make sure that they're catered for should they need to, have a bit more variation because of an injury.
Yeah, and that's it. I won't go off on a bit of a tangent, but that is the prime example of why you should hire a coach, because they tailor it specifically to you, your goals and your injuries as well. Whereas you won't get that with a generic plan that you find online. If you've got a bad hip, you'll just get a plan. It's not going to cater around, it's not going to tailor around that injury that you've got. So having a coach like Lianne with those HIIT virtual sessions are going to be really, really beneficial for you. But yeah, I mean, in regards to your goal then, Lianne, so you've got your photo shoot coming up. When is that now?
21st of August.
Fast.
It's five and a little bit weeks. All as personal trainers have body dysmorphia, and we see things that nobody else might see. So you look at yourself. When I'm checking in with my coach, I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. But I know that everything, you've just got to keep plugging away and just be patient and just keep doing what you're doing, and every day matters. So I have got a little bit of a way to go, but 5 weeks is a long time. So
yeah, it is because it's your first proper shoot, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm very camera shy, and people will say to me, oh, I don't know how you seem such a natural on camera. I'm not. I'm freaking out.
Not anymore.
I am getting better, but in terms of the camera and pictures, I'm not even thinking about that part of it. I'm just doing it really because it's something that I said I would never do, and just to push my body to its absolute limits and just see how far I can take it in a certain amount of time, and just to have content, for my business and pictures that I'll be able to keep forever, that are professional.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I did a podcast with another trainer called Chiji. It's on my YouTube channel, but we spoke about obviously prepping for a photo shoot versus losing weight as a beginner. So the type of clients that both yourself and me kind of have, and it's a different gear, isn't it? It's a completely different gear.
It is. I mean, my partner, she she's always said to me, oh, I really want abs, I really want abs. But now she sees what goes into it, she'll say, no, I'm not doing it. But, and she's over that now, because she sees how hard I have to work and how hard I have to train. And, people seem to think that, that I've had it before. When my mum said to me before, when she's seen me, God, you've lost a lot of weight. How is it you've lost weight so easy? And I'm like, yeah. Oh my, you had idea. I mean, I'm coming back, and you've got the chocolate cravings that I get. I'm a chocoholic, and pizza, and even little things like Beck, my partner, she'll want to go out, and she'll say, oh, obviously not right now, but can we go out? Can we go out for food? No, you can't. You're so regimented and so strict, and you just live in that meal, and living to time schedules all the time. And these people that are doing it for a living, these who does competitions, and a lot, bodybuilders or whatever, fitness models, hats off to them, because it's just a long game. And if you've got goals where you do want abs, they are overrated.
Still look good though.
God, I mean, that feel that you feel a little bit tighter, and you wake in the morning, and it's a better feeling than feeling sluggish, and it does, because you're more energized, and it makes you feel good. I won't deny that.
That's it. I mean, for my clients, I wouldn't ever recommend a photo shoot unless they wanted me to prep them for a photo shoot. So I've got a couple of guys that are prepping for a shoot right now, just because I want to create those long lasting results. And with a photo shoot, it is a very short term thing. Like, you do it for your 12, 16 or 20 weeks, whatever you do, and then you have to come out the back of it. You can't maintain doing continuing to eat that low amount of calories and doing that cardio and doing that training regimented, no social life, nothing like that. So it is a very short term thing. But yeah, I don't know, probably your guys are exactly the same. You wouldn't probably recommend a photo shoot unless they ask you, would you?
No, I mean, I've got a lot of online clients now, and they come to me because they are your, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, your normal, average person who just wants to have a better lifestyle, to be able to move around more with their kids, their anxiety and stress levels, to reduce those, have a good insight into the foods that they eat, because they might have been on Slimming World and they're not quite sure, because they went on Slimming World and now they've come off it and they've gained a little bit of weight. So, just to have a healthy balance, and just to be accountable, and just to follow a path where they can sustain, like you say, the photo shoot world is it's not sustainable. And I know full well that when I come off this, don't get me wrong, I'm not, I'm never a heavy person, because I'm intense with my training and I love my training, but it certainly won't be anything like what I'm doing now. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, you got to be careful coming off the back of it. I mean, that's the biggest thing I learned. I didn't have a goal in place after the shoot, so my sights were on that shoot date. That was it. So
yeah, and then you just
stone in 2 weeks. I put on. I spoke to this with Chiji as well, and it's so common. I think so many trainers have done it. So many people who prep for a photo shoot have done it, because you're taking your body to an unnatural state. And it's so out of the norm. So when you do finish, if you don't have another plan in place, it's like with my guys. One of my guys, he's got a holiday 3 months after a shoot. So we've got our shoot, and then he's got the next goal to work towards. So he's going to be in control. Whereas if you kind of finish your shoot and then it's like, oh, fantastic, that's it. You just eat everything inside, and it's, mentally, it really, really affects you.
This is my second time around, because I was 7 weeks in prior to lockdown, and then because of lockdown I had to stop, because I had no idea when I'd be able to do it. And I thought, do you know what, this regimented, strict, it could go on for months, and it was down, to be honest, because it was the unknown. And not only were we going through this bloody turmoil of lockdown and the COVID situation, I kept thinking, well, I don't even know how long I'm going to be, eating like this for. So I ended up coming off it, and it was things like chocolate. I'm not massive on alcohol, don't get me wrong. We'd have a drink on a Friday or a Saturday or whatever. I'm not massive on alcohol at all. But the food, for pizza and for chocolate, I just found I was going to the shop and I could eat easily big bars of chocolate, 3, all in one. It just doesn't affect, I don't get that feeling. And I'm thinking, wow, now I understand. And it's good, because I actually understand now how emotional eaters have to struggle through and battle through that barrier, because personally I was finding that I was in that situation, and it's given me an insight on how to help those people a little bit more as well. So it's kind of good that I've been through it and I've had to come out the back end of it, and now I've gone back in it again. But fortunately for me, I have this switch that I know when I'm telling myself I'm going to do something, that there is no compromise. It's right, I'm on it, I'm not on it, I'm on it, I'm not, and I can just flip that switch. Whereas I suppose these people that do battle through day-to-day life with the emotional eating side, they struggle to try and get that switch, and that's where I can come in, and and I can actually say now I understand, because I do understand. So
that's exactly the same what I said to my ladies who have struggled with binge eating in the past, because the photo shoot for me, I mean, when I got the photos, I did it initially for my business, but the type of clients that I actually have, they didn't give a shit about my photos. But the biggest thing that came out of the shoot was exactly that. It's the understanding now that I have with binge eating and overeating and how to actually get around it, that can really add value to my clients now. And I think that's the best thing that came out of that whole process for me, 100%.
Yeah. Mad, isn't it? How it gets it. You can't, and you think to yourself, you're doing wrong. You know that, and I'm thinking, why are you eating this amount of chocolate? And I suppose it's a case of, if I really wanted to stop, for me, I could have, but I think it was because I didn't want to, and I just didn't care. And that was ultimately, it was down to the fact that I just didn't care. And you could do it, but you just got to have a word with yourself and gain control of your emotions and gain control of these negative thoughts that are, coming into your head, and just understand that what you're doing is actually so detrimental and isn't going to make you feel any better whatsoever.
Yeah. I think you definitely need that next goal in place, because you need a focus and you need a path to be walking down. If you finish a shoot or anything like that and you just free, you just go AWOL. So you definitely need a path to walk down. And it's like with my ladies, I mean, they like the odd glass of gin, or for example, my client Michelle, she's dropped like 16 kilos now, I think, over the lockdown period, and she's had a crumpet with butter every day, because she enjoys crumpets with butter. So she's had that element in her plan, and it's all about being in control of what you're actually eating and what you're consuming, rather than just going nuts on one thing.
That's it. And taking too much of the things that you like out of your nutrition is only going to make you want it more. So you need to be not necessarily rewarding yourself, but you need to have, what's the point? You're just existing if you're not going to eat it. Like I am pretty much now. I'm just existing just to get through my shoot. And it's not a way of life. So you like yourself, I've got clients that have Twisters and Kit Kats and Quavers and all sorts, because they enjoy them. And that's what it's all about, is living, having the things that you enjoy, but understanding enough's enough now. You've had your treat. Now let's crack on. Yeah,
that's it. Going back to the topic of the video, because I always tend to go on a massive tangent on these videos. So in regards to a photo shoot then, would you recommend HIIT or would you recommend LISS for preparing for a photo shoot?
Do you know what? I'm doing both, and I need to continue doing both. I would say to my clients, I suppose it would depend on how much time they have. Do they have time to be doing? I mean, I'm training an hour for my weight session at home. I'm doing 2 HIIT sessions a day, and I'm running for an hour. Does that person have the time to be doing that? If they don't, I would have them more going down the HIIT route, because we need to be burning those calories. We need to be burning that energy. But if they have time, which realistically, who has 3 hours a day to be training?
I had to find it.
You are, and it creates such a, again, you've got to be, for a photo shoot, it needs to be your priority. So you need to find the time. So yes, I would have the steady state cardio in there, but I would also put HIITs in there as well, because you've just got that variation and you're keeping it different. And with it being your number one priority, my coach will say to me, when we check in, right, I'm adding 20 more minutes cardio, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you're looking at your phone and you're thinking, oh my God. And you can't go back to them and say, I don't have the time, because you've committed yourself to your, to what you're doing. Therefore, you find the time.
Yeah, that's it. I think the difference between like a shoot and, let's say you was competing. So when you compete, it's kind of like that next level. I don't think you could do HIIT when you're competing, because you can't track exactly the amount of calories that you've burned. You just can't track it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, and also you're gonna start eating into your muscle, and you've just got to be careful, because I suppose for a photo shoot, I just need to be stripped down, and it's not really. I'm quite fortunate that I react well to lifting weights as well. I do react really well to it. I've got that body type, and I am fortunate, but not everybody's the same as me. So before you know it, you're training, you're doing a lot of HIIT, you're eating into your muscle, and it's not going to be good for you. So you just got to be kind of mindful of that as well.
Awesome. Yes, I hope that's helped a lot of you out make the decision between HIIT and LISS, which one will be the best one for you. And if you didn't know what they were before this, I hope we've explained it well enough for you to kind of understand and implement into your training routine. I'll probably stay and have a chat with Lianne after this recording. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. If you want to find out more about Lianne's virtual classes, I'll put a link below, so you can just go and check those out and get involved in those. They're really, really popular at the moment.
Yeah, they're flying. They're going, be a part of my team. You won't regret it.
That's it. That's it. You'll have to get one of those T-shirts. She's got a little plan going.
I am. I've just put an order in as well. I mean, it's one of those where you think, oh, I've got to put another order in because I need a few more bits. And the next minute, it's like, well, can I have this? Can I have that? So it's amazing. So, you know, these guys supporting me, just they're relentless with it, and they're sharing everything. They're wearing my, you know, my branded tops, and it's amazing. They're all amazing.
Lovely feeling. Lovely feeling. But yeah, we'll see you soon, guys.
Bye.